Hey there, friend. Welcome back to the Firm My Life course. This is video number 10. So today we're going to be talking about marriage, and we're going to talk a little bit at the end about parenting. But we're really going to just focus on the marriage aspect of this. And here's the thing. I know there's a lot of different situations for all of you that are watching this. And I know there's some of you that maybe you're in a good marriage or a bad marriage, or you're divorced, or you're single. Like there's so many different ones, but I want you to understand really the idea, the concepts, the principles of how to build a good marriage. And I believe that it'll affect your life no matter where you're at. It may be something that applies to you in the future. It may be something that applies to you right now. Here's the thing you got to understand. A good marriage is not found. It's built. And it requires a lot of hard work. And it's just mind-blowing to me in today's society how common it is for people to live together but not commit to a marriage. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Like, I understand that, just seeing a lot of bad marriages and experiencing growing up in a split home and all that stuff, I think that scares a lot of people. And also, this is kind of funny, but I talked to a guy the other day who was telling me about a buddy of his that's been living with this girl for several years. They have one, maybe two kids together, but they won't get married because, quote, she's a single mom. And so they get all this government help, insurance, whatever. And that's why they won't sign the dotted line. But I tell you what, that's crazy to me because as a man, that would make me feel so weak. Absolutely. That blows my mind. But the truth is, there's a lot of people that don't want to commit. But I want you to understand just how amazing a marriage is actually supposed to be. Like, my wife and I, we've been together, I don't know, a long time now. I know we're fixing to celebrate our 10th wedding anniversary. So it's been a lot of long roads. We've been through a lot of hard things, and I've shared a lot of them with you. But I'm telling you, through it all, if not for our relationship, if not for all the long nights and the talks we've had and the things we fought through, if I didn't have her by my side, I'm telling you, I would never be recording this course right here today. I would never be able to coach you. I would never be able to build Firm My Life and do all the things that I do if not for my wife. And I know I'm bragging on her, but I want you to understand a real marriage, one that's committed, one that you stay together, you work through it, you fight through the hard times. You go through the arguments, you go through the fights, you go through the tough moments when the world seems against you. Right, when you lose your business, when your confidence falls through the roof, when your relationship with God, that whole religion thing falls apart, when all of the things that happen, you stick it out, you learn, you grow, you get better together, and it becomes the most beautiful thing in the world. I'm telling you, my friend, the effort it takes to build a good marriage is well worth it, and there's just nothing that you can replace it with. The blessing that God brings upon a relationship when you commit, when you put that ring on that finger, you sign that dotted line, it's like God pours out His blessing. God pours out His favor. Things will begin to shift. Things will begin to turn when you make that commitment. So I don't know who exactly is in that situation, but I want you to know if that's you, make that commitment and move forward. So here's some of the things that I want you to know. When you're set about to build a strong marriage, the first thing you need to focus on is you need to focus on fixing yourself. Which, if you've made it this far in this course, this program, that's what you're doing, right? That's what you're working on. But it's really, really hard. It's not even feasible to even think about not doing it. Like, you have got to fix yourself if you want to be able to build a strong marriage. You see, if you don't work on yourself, if you don't love yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, you can't truly give yourself. Like, you're not able to show the love. You're not able to give the support. You're not able to be that partner you should be until you fix your own life. And so many people, so many relationships, I've seen it a lot of times where it's just a blame game. He did this, she did that. It's always the other person's fault. Somebody's got to step up. Somebody's got to take the initiative and say, look, it doesn't matter whose fault. I'm going to accept responsibility. I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to fix my life. And I want to help you do the same whenever you get it ready to do that. Right? You show that love, you show that compassion, and you work on yourself. Now, here's the next thing that you need to do. You've got to learn how to serve. You see, it's not a one-way street in a marriage. It's giving and it's taking on both sides. I kind of grew up in that culture where, dad goes to work, mom stays home. And when I got married, my wife grew up the same way. So when we got married, that's kind of the way it began to go. But then over time, as we begin to grow and we begin to realize, hey, we are both people with dreams. We are both people with a purpose. We both have things we want to accomplish in our life. And then I would come home from work and I would see her stressed out, 4 kids, dishes in the sink, the kids are going crazy and she's just, worn down. And I'd be like, you know what? This is also my responsibility to take care of this home. So I'd pick up a rag and start doing the dishes. Or I would help do this or do that, like whatever. Like, it's a give and take. It requires a team effort on both sides. Like, you've got to put some time and you've got to put some elbow grease into this to make it work. Serve the other person. Go out of your way to make their life better. Go out of your way to do something kind, to do something nice, to do something sweet, to do something special for them. Learn how to serve. So here's the next one. This one was something that we tried to adopt when we first got married, and really it's something that we've held pretty strong to, and I really believe it's something that's helped us make it through. In fact, I would have to say that it is definitely something that helped us make it through. It's been a big deal in our marriage, and that is praying together. When we first started, it was kind of awkward. It was difficult to pray together, and it was something that we both kind of had to push out of our comfort zone and do, but truthfully, it's not that hard. It don't have to be complicated. It don't have to be difficult. Just before you go to bed. When we first got married, we would lay in bed and I'd grab her hand and we would just say a little prayer together. As time went on, that evolved as we started having children, like we just kind of included them in that. And we began to have a prayer time together as a family every night before bed. All the kids know, hey, we're going to pray together. It ain't crazy. It's not fancy. Like, my kids are little. Like, they're young, but each one of them, they say their little prayer. They pray for dad and mommy and they pray to have a good day at school or whatever it is. Like, it's really cool to listen to them and to kind of understand where they're at in the whole, their spiritual journey. And it's also, it will bring about conversations. Like, they will make a little comment. They'll say a little something, and it opens up a conversation about spiritual things, and that you get to put a little bit of that into their life. All right, so pray together. It's a big one. It's a big deal. Now, here's something that you've got to pay attention to, and it's something that you got to work at, especially when kids come into the picture, and that is investing in your marriage, investing in your relationship. And there's several different ways to do that. It might just be going on a date, which when you have kids, it can be hard to do. You got to find a babysitter. You got to work around their schedule. They're sick or they got this or that, whatever. But you got to take the time to do it. You've got to take the time to be together, to have fun together, to do things together, and invest in your marriage, in your relationship. Read books, listen to podcasts, go to marriage conferences. You don't have to do those things all the time, but take a little time and do them as often as you can. All right? Because when you do, you'll grow, you'll learn things about each other, you'll learn things about marriage, you'll learn things about, just relationships and talking and learning and listening and all those things. And it will make a difference in your marriage. All right, so here's the next one. I want you to really learn how to hear your spouse. Now, this one is something that you got to put some time into because there's a difference in listening and actually hearing. And this one took me a while in my marriage because she would be saying things and she would be like acting in a way, or there was these emotions that were coming, and what she was trying to say, I was interpreting it in the wrong way. And so I had to learn how to put aside my emotions and my feelings and really dial in and really hear what she was trying to tell me. And she's had to do the exact same thing with me. And it can be difficult, but I want you to understand that if you will take the time to really invest getting to know your spouse, really to invest in listening and hearing them, and you begin to walk down those roads, and a lot of those things that we've already talked about in this course, their past, their struggles, their things, and you begin to just walk that journey together and really listen, really hear them. I'm telling you, my friend, when you get to that place, you're on a journey to building a great marriage. Like there just comes about a connection. There comes about just a bond. The Bible talks about two become one. And I really think that's where this is. It's just like where you go past the surface level and you really you dial in and you get that connection to where you come together. And that's when your hurt becomes their hurt. Your pain becomes their pain. Your dreams become their dreams. Like your purpose becomes their purpose. Like you guys just kind of like melt together and you become one, a team, something powerful, a weapon that can be used in God's kingdom and that can be used to accomplish incredible, great things in life. Learn how to hear them. All right, before we wrap up this video, I want to share a few things with you about parenting. And like I said, you might not have kids right now. You may have kids. Your kids might be grown. But still, there's some lessons here that can apply to all of us. I remember sitting in a church service as a kid, and I might have been like 12 years old, something like that. And on Sunday morning, I was sitting there, and this older gentleman got up. And he began to talk about his two boys. He began to tell how they no longer had anything to do with him. They were no longer in church. They didn't want anything to do with God. And like they had all these things going on in their life that was not good. And he went down the list here. And he started talking about his regrets as a father. And he told us, he said, when they were young, he said, I spent a lot of time working. All my time, I was working. I was out there trying to make money. I was trying to, buy them all these cool things, these cool toys. And he said, I did that, and I bought them all those things. He said, but then too late, I realized that my kids needed my time, not my toys. I'm telling you, I've never forgotten that. That left such an impact on me. And I said, I will never be that dad. I will be somebody that is present with my children. I will be there in their life. So it's something that I've said about. Me and my wife, we do the same thing. Like, we make sure that we connect with our kids. We have 4 kids. Each of them have different personalities. Each of them are at different stages in their life. And so each of them feels that connection in a different way. For one, my son, it's like body slam him on the bed. That's his like love language. It's like rough housing, doing stuff. For my daughter, it's like, hey, sit in daddy's lap, tell me about your day. For my other one, it's like, hey, just read me a book, daddy. There's all these little things that you begin to learn. And, it kind of changes as they get older and in different seasons of life. But I've just made it a point to make sure that I connect with my children. I give them my time. Here's the next one. I talk about this a lot, but here's something that I've really learned is you've got to fix yourself. I remember as a youth pastor, I had a parent come up to me one time and they said, Nathan, my boy is acting up. I think he's like 14. So he's acting up. He's an ISS almost every day. Like he says all these problems, and I need you to talk to him. I need you to fix him. He's got anger issues. I remember looking at her, and I was like, okay, yeah, Mom, I'll see if I can talk to him. But in my mind, I was thinking, woman, your husband just went to jail, this boy's dad. You're cheating on his dad while he's in jail. And you want me to fix his anger issues? Like, just people. Like, that's just unbelievable. Like, what are you thinking? Of course he's mad. Of course he's angry. You've got to fix yourself before you try to fix your kids. And I've noticed it even in little things. Like when I'm stressed, when I have to work late, or when, I've got all this stuff going in my life and there's just pressure, it directly affects my children. They start acting up. They start misbehaving. It's like a direct correlation. And remember when this was first happening and I didn't quite understand it, people would be coming up to me and they're like, man, you discipline your kids, man. Like, they're acting up. They don't listen. And then I began to realize that's my fault. That's me. If I would fix me, it fixes them. It just does. Fix yourself. Here's another one. Make sure you teach your kids the things they need to know. When it comes your time to teach them, teach them. Have the hard conversations. Teach them good principles, good moral principles. Teach them values in their life. Teach them about God. Teach them right from wrong. Teach your sons how to be men, your daughters how to be women. And as they get older, have the hard conversations with them. Talk to them about sex. Talk to them about purity. Talk to them about the temptations they're going to face. Begin to talk to them about responsibility and all these different things that you need to tell them. Because here's the deal. If you don't tell them, somebody will. Much better it be you. Don't be afraid to have those hard conversations. Make sure you do when the time comes. Now, 2 more things. This is especially for those of you that have older kids. There comes a time when your children, they don't need you as much as they used to. They don't want you to be that person that's just, trying to control their life or whatever. But here's what you've got to do. You've got to make sure that you're always available. Because there will be a time where they come back and they need some advice. They need some wisdom. They need somebody to talk to. Maybe they just need a listening ear, right? They need somebody that will listen and not judge them, not criticize them, not tell them what to do, just listen. Whatever it is, be available. Be there when they need you. And secondly, be capable. When they do come, have the ability to help them. Have the ability to sit and listen and not offer advice. Or have the ability to give that wise counsel and that wise advice when it's needed. Be available and be capable. All right? So listen, we got a couple more lessons to wrap up this course. And the next one, we're really going to go into a very deep topic, one that's not talked about very much, if really at all. And it's something that you really need to know if you're truly going to walk this road of strength, stability, and purpose. All right? I'll see you there.